By now, just about everyone has heard of these tubes, and we all know that there are differences of opinion. There is controversy about what these tubes are for. Most U.S. experts think they are intended to serve as rotors in centrifuges used to enrich uranium. Other experts and the Iraqis themselves argue that they are really to produce the rocket bodies for a conventional weapon, a multiple rocket launcher.
In October 2003 broadcast of 60 Minutes 2, Wood said,
I thought when I read that there must be some other tubes that people were talking about. I just was flabbergasted that people were still pushing that those might be centrifuges.
Flabbergasted?
Yeah, yeah. So it didn't make any sense to me. Science was not pushing this forward. Scientists had made their evaluation, had made their determination, and now we didn't know what was happening. Most experts are located in Oak Ridge, and that was not the position there.
Do you know one in academia, in government, in a foreign country, who disagrees with your appraisal, who says, yes, these are for nuclear weapons?
I don't know a single one anywhere. My conclusion was that these did not look like devices that could be used for centrifuges. So it would be highly unlikely that this could be a centrifuge rotor.
The walls of the tubes were too thick. Every one of the 60,000 tubes would need to be shaved down.
These were on the order of 3 millimeters thickness, so much more material than you would want to have in a high-speed rotor.
Their mass was too great.
You want the mass to be as small as possible so you can contain this high-speed rotating device.
And they would create leakage.
The gas would just be leaking out of the rotor, and you'd have to have pumps to continually pump that. Scientifically, these tubes do not fit the mold of gas centrifuges, period.
in my July 8th interview with Professor Wood, I asked him about his background. Professor Wood, my job at Oak Ridge was in developing a theory for centrifuges, how the gas in the centrifuge can be manipulated to separate the isotopes with as high efficiency as possible. I had been working on centrifuge theory and development since 1967, which was my primary role at Oak Ridge for 18 years until 1985 when the government shut down the program. I really enjoyed it because I worked with high caliber people, and we had this group called Gas Centrifuge Theory Group. We had people from Harvard, MIT, and Caltech, and I was the full-time centrifuge person who was liaison with all these high-level scientists who were all in the National Academy of Sciences and National Academy of Engineering. Joe Turner, the primary CIA analyst pushing the Lunar Tubes fantasy, worked at Oak Ridge while Professor Wood was there. Mr. Turner was not in the Gas Centrifuge Theory Group. I asked Professor Wood if Turner was under him when he managed the centrifuge department. Professor Wood, he was in our division. He was not exactly in our department. Oak Ridge had a division called Separation Systems, and I had a department called Centrifuge Physics, and Turner worked in Separation Systems as a mechanic. My understanding is that he designed or built platforms on which centrifuges are installed. Is that right? Professor Wood, yes, I think that's right. I don't know exactly what he did, but I knew who he was, and I know he did not work on the theory of centrifuges or how centrifuges work. He worked on the peripheral parts. I asked Professor Wood about the normal qualifications for people in the centrifuge physics. With all due respect to mechanical engineers, without an advanced degree or some serious design experience, how could Turner carry the credentials to force this issue? Professor Wood, it's really strange, unusual.